Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another third-party unlicensed 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review video. Now today we are taking a look at none other than the SooSoo Toys The Tactician, aka Idris Elba's Bloodsport from James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I love the movie, I'm a huge fan of Bloodsport, really excited to get him out here. Now I got mine from toysofwonderland.com. Do bear in mind, as I said just before, this is an unofficial, unlicensed product. I have popped the link in the description below for your reference purposes only. This is by no means a promotional video, this is a review on a figure I picked up for my own personal collection. As for the box art, it's just okay. Up top, SooSoo Toys, front and center Bloodsport himself, it's kind of a blurry image though. Then down below, the Tactician. On the side of the box, nothing. On the back of the box, a bunch of warnings and legal info, plus another SooSoo Toys logo. On the inside, we have another piece of artwork, this time it's the actual figure. Then below, the figure himself. Now, this sticker right here is kinda cheeky. Now, SooSoo Toys have been including instructions, and this sticker simply says, please read those instructions. Hot Toys uses that exact same sticker on their clan trays. So it's SooSoo Toys trying to make their figures feel just that little bit more official. As for Bloodsport himself, first in-hand impressions are pretty good. So far, I'm loving the way this guy looks. What we are going to do now though is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first, one thing we can always count on from SooSoo Toys, their bases are consistent. It's hexagonal, it's a little bit chonky, you've got some metal grate flooring up on top, a Bloodsport helmet logo, and a ton of weathering. There's dry brushing throughout, we've got that copper metallic colour just like his armour. Then up top, a regular crotch grabber. We may as well start off with the biggest weapon first. That's right, Bloodsport comes with his very own BFG. And it looks really cool. The front piece can spin very smoothly, just like in the film, and the paint looks good, although not perfect. For some reason it's done in this kind of bluish green, and the copper sections are yellow. I don't know why they're yellow, seeing as this is formed out of the armor, therefore the colors between the weapons and the armor itself should be identical. But you'll see when we bring the figure out here, his armor is copper where these pieces are all bright yellow. Now nothing really comes off here, it's all one solid hunk except for this piece that spins. There's a ton of silver dry brushing and some washes in the crevices, plus on the yellow, just to dull it down a little bit more. You also get this mid-sized weapon. I'm pretty sure this is what the BFG started out as, and then as you can see, it got a lot bigger. This is also one solid hunk, nothing moves here, and it's painted in the exact same way as the BFG, meaning the yellow is inaccurate, the blue is slightly too green, but the silver with the washes and the dry brushing, all of that looks really good. My favourite weapons of the bunch are these right here. I love them in the movie, the way he kind of just pulls them out of the armor. It's so freaking cool. The sculpt is sharp. There are also no moving pieces. These pieces can't rotate. Unfortunately, it would have been cool to see because they did in the movie, but the paint is still inaccurate. The yellow is vibrant. It's applied well, but I really can't get over the fact that it's the wrong colour. It should be this colour right here, this copper style metallic, but for some reason they went bright yellow. Now you do have hands specifically moulded to hold onto these, and don't you worry, you will see him holding both of these a little bit later. Lastly, for the guns, he also comes with the teeny tiny pea shooter, the one that shot through Peacemaker's bullet at the end of the movie. Now it's painted in the same way as the other guns, no need to mention it again, and it's absolutely tiny. I don't exactly know if I'll ever pose my figure holding this, but when the Hot Toys Peacemaker gets here, that's totally an option. You do also get a sword. We see him using this in the movie, and interestingly enough, the handle is the colour that all of these weapons were supposed to be. SooSoo Toys, what is going on? This is the right colour, the yellow simply isn't. I do like the way the rest of this has been painted. It's nice and metallic, there's some airbrush shading on the linkages, and of course a bunch of dry brushing and shading around the edges, just to make that handle look a little bit more weathered. I bet you someone will find some kind of reference that has the weapons being in that yellow and they'll comment, "Justin, you moron, you got it wrong." I'm gonna stick by what I said. I think it should be the same colour as the armour, seeing as the weapons actually did form out of the armour. You do get a mace. It is really prickly. It's made of plastic, but these spikes are sharp. Be very careful. The string is a real string, and it comes with a little real metal ring down below. So of course, he can hold this. Now you do get two different options for the head sculpt. We will be checking out the unmasked one in the very next clip. I know, such a tease, I'm sorry. Now this head sculpt is of course the helmeted one. It's magnetic, meaning maximum range of motion. And the sculpt is really mean. It kind of looks like an alien xenomorph with the lower jaw and the dome up on top. I like the lower jaw. It's slightly metallic but organic at the same time, and the way it's painted is really good. However, the dome is kinda ugly. I like the texture and I like the scratches, but what the heck are these silver lines? I know what they were going for. It's supposed to be some light scratching, but in person it just comes across as individual silver brush strokes. Now I'm going to try and dull this down myself, but out of the box, yeah, these silver lines are a little bit distracting. That's not to say that the helmeted sculpt is bad though, it isn't, I still really like it. Now, as for the unhelmeted head sculpt, this one is so controversial. A lot of people really didn't like it, SooSoo Toys said they were going to change it, and I think they did, just a little. I can absolutely see the likeness to Idris Elba, the skin texture is well painted, I like the texture for the beard, although I do agree with some of y'all's comments, it is a little too grey. Now I'm going to try and dull that down myself with some black wash, but out of the box, yeah, he looks really old. I do like the little white hair stripe up the top, it is accurate. Overall, the expression is good. I cannot wait to see what this head sculpt looks like on the body. Lastly, he comes with a full array of hands, including my favourite one, this one right here. He's flipping us the bird, or technically in the display he's going to be flipping Peacemaker the bird, cause yeah, I'm going to display them together. Now the skin texture for the ungloved fingers looks really good. There is some texture for the glove. You do have that metallic copper for the armor plating, and then some light silver dry brushing up on top. What we are going to do now, though, is get Bloodsport himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. So far so good. Starting off with the body, the proportions are on point. It actually looks like a person shrunk down to 1/6 scale. Everything fits here, the head isn't too big, nor is the outfit. It's padded and it's bulky in all the right places. The armor is slightly rubbery, the paint applications are beautiful. There's a ton of texture here, and the best part, most of his outfit is full fabric. And you all know what that means. Yeah, that makes me very happy. I haven't as of yet tried on the helmeted head sculpt, but I'm very curious to do just that. Up close and personal, kicking things off with the head sculpt first. You all know I like this sculpt, but how does it fit on the body? Well, I think it works here. It doesn't sit too high, it doesn't sit too low. To my eye, everything looks in proportion. Now, he does have a rather high collar, which kind of makes his neck look a little short, but trust me, when you pose this guy up, when you see him in person, it's a total non-issue. Now, if you do find that he's looking up out of the box, simply pull the armor forward, kind of rotate it down, and then you should free up the neck joint to bring his head sculpt down just a little more. Oh yes, this is the stuff right here. I love the unmasked head sculpt. I'm tempted to use it in the display, but now that I'm seeing this one on the body, I think I'm sold. This is the way I'm going to have to go. It looks incredible. Now, his neck does look slightly shorter because the jaw hangs down a little lower, but you do have that split-cut magnetic design for maximum range of motion. So if posing's your game and you want to go crazy with the articulation, then yeah, this is the head sculpt you're going to go with. You can pretty much do anything. Now, he does have a slightly different colored xenomorph style jaw compared to the armor. Do let me know if that's accurate. I was fairly certain the xenomorph jaw was supposed to be this kind of copperish bronze color, but as you can see, it's slightly darker. This is a really cool Easter egg. It's supposed to be the sword that we saw in the accessory segment. That's the hilt, that's the blade. Now obviously this can't come off, it's fixed in position, but I really like that attention to detail. I didn't even really know this was supposed to be there. Now his armor is all done in this hard rubbery plastic. There's some dry brushing of silver on the surface. And down below, they've done something rather weird. Now, these straps would normally be kind of connected up, but SooSoo toys have left them untethered. That means from the front, they look good, they hug the body, but you will get a little bit more range of motion. Nothing is too tight and nothing is restricted. Around the front, more rubbery armor, although you do have a ton more of this shiny metallic copper. Now, it's not super shiny, but as you can see, when the light hits it, yeah, there's a little bit of shine to it. You do have some dry brushing on the surface, some washes in the crevices. It looks just like the rest of the suit, nicely weathered. His arms do give us a much better look at the undershirt. It's all fabric, it's a nice deep rich blue, and I'm all for it. That means no cracking, no creasing, no pleather, no rubber. This is the best way to go when it comes to posing. He does have some permanently adhered elbow pads. The shoulder pads are done in that shiny metallic copper with some washers on top to dull it down just a little. Now, these straps are kind of annoying. They're free floating. If you push them up, they do sit in position for a while until you start to move the arms around, then slowly but surely they will fall down. So I would suggest dialing in the pose first, pushing these up, and fingers crossed they won't go anywhere. He does have some gauntlets, fully sculpted out of that rubbery plastic, more of that metallic copper, and of course those fingerless gloves that we saw earlier. His belt area is an asymmetrical design. Around the back you've got this canister versus this little piece on the other side. It's all rubbery plastic and it is free floating, so it can be adjusted. Now you may be thinking, oh no, these pieces hang down the front. Does that mean his legs are super restricted? No, don't you worry, SooSoo toys have thought of that. There's a cut right here on both sides. When you bend the legs, it kind of tucks up into the joint, maximizing your range of motion. Speaking of range of motion, the pants are all fabric. They're a different style and color of fabric to the shirt. Perfectly fine with me, I like a bit of variation, although they are very clean. I was expecting some weathering, just like the rest of the armor. Yes, I can do that myself, but 9 times out of 10, to be honest, I'd rather not have to. Coming down to the legs, you do have some more armor plating. These straps aren't real fabric, they're all rubber, they simply friction in place, just like the straps up here for the biceps. Now, does that mean they float around and kind of fall down constantly? Yeah, they do. It's something you have to be aware of. It's totally a non-issue, just dial in the pose first, push these up, and then they will sit in place. You've got more of that metallic copper, you can see how it's reflecting the light. It does look suitably shiny, as I said earlier. Then coming down to the boots, oh yes, a split-cut boot design. Maximum range of motion. Honestly, it feels like I've said maximum range of motion about 100 times, but yeah, this figure was quite clearly developed with articulation as a key focus. You've got a ton of range out of the split-cut boot, and it's well sculpted. There's this leather-like texture on the surface, some lighter brown up on top, and of course some darker brown in the crevices. On the underside, a fully sculpted tread. It's not weathered, but I like the way it looks. For a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have SooSoo Toys Bloodsport on the left and Hot Toys Deadshot on the right. I didn't know who else to go with, seeing as though King Shark and Peacemaker simply aren't out yet, and all of the rest of the team are currently in limbo. But these two look really good together. Bloodsport is ever so slightly taller. This time I did my research. Idris Elba is taller than Will Smith IRL. This height difference is accurate. The colors are drastically different, but both are wearing these awesome armored suits. Yeah, I would have no problem whatsoever displaying this Bloodsport alongside this Deadshot. Next up, here we have my custom modded BVS Batfleck, who's taller, bigger, and a lot beefier than Bloodsport. If you were planning on picking up Bloodsport, maybe as a member of your Rogues Gallery, rather than trying to build out a Suicide Squad, that could work. Maybe you don't like the film, but you love the look of the figure. You can have him facing off against Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, whoever you want. Adding more villains into the display is always a good thing. Going over articulation, do bear in mind this is my personal copy of the figure, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful. Starting off with the head sculpt, it's on a fixed neck plus a ball joint, looking forward and back, swivel and pivot. The arms do go up to there. They will go forward and back on soft ratchets, butterfly joint at the shoulder that also hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow that does get you past 90, and of course a regular 1/6 scale wrist peg. The torso crunches forward and back, swivel and pivot. The legs go forward to there, going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh, double bend at the knee that does get you just past 90, and lastly, a double ball peg down here for the ankle. Wrapping up on SooSoo Toys Bloodsport from the Suicide Squad, a film I absolutely adored. When I sat down and watched it for the first time, I knew, oh, I am in trouble. If any company makes these figures in 1/6 scale, I am all in. And SooSoo Toys, y'all have delivered the goods. Does that mean he's perfect? No, he isn't. Let's talk about the cons first. Number one, his weapons are the wrong color. They're yellow rather than the copper metallic. I don't know why, seeing as though the outfit is copper metallic and those weapons form out of his actual outfit in the movie. Something must have been lost in translation, because yes, those weapons are the wrong color. His helmet looks good, but the brush strokes are really visible. The head sculpt without the helmet on is super controversial. I like the head sculpt. I can see Idris Elba, it's well painted, although, yes, I will admit the beard is a little grey. Overall, this isn't SooSoo Toys' best figure, not by a long shot, but it's definitely not their worst either. It's good enough that I am more than happy to pop this in the display, but I'm also very curious to see what the other third-party versions of Bloodsport look like stacked up alongside this figure. Now, as I said in the intro, this is a third-party, unlicensed, unofficial product. I got mine from toyswonderland.com. I have put the link in the description below for your reference purposes only. This is by no means a promotional video, this is a review on a figure I picked up for my own personal collection. While you're down in the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment and subscribe and we'll catch you in the next video.